Hi, this is Jennifer with Mind Body Movement, and today I am showing you my floor sitting workstation. I know as you've probably heard, a lot of times people will refer to sitting as really a big problem that we have nowadays, and maybe even heard sitting is the new smoking, that phrase before, and certainly there are a lot of things wrong with sort of sitting in just a standard chair position for a long time, especially if it's a bucket seat. But really, I think the big issue is that a fixed position is really the problem. That we don't want to have our bodies in one position for a really long amount of time without changing that up. And that's really, I think, just as big of an issue. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the chair position, though there are some issues with that on its own, but just any position. You don't want to just be sort of staying still for a really long time like that. So one thing that I do at my house, sort of a really simple little movement hack, is just to have a floor sitting desk. So this desk, you could take a regular desk actually if you had one, or like find one, secondhand, and simply, of course, cut the legs. This is 17 inches is what I have. This is a 17-inch desk that I have, and this is actually, I got this desk. It's a child's play table, and it came with 2 heights of legs. So I just put the lower height on the 17 inches, and it works perfectly for me. But if you can't find one, you could certainly just make it yourself by just cutting the legs. So again, I have 17 inches, and that's what works really well for me. You can see it works for you, but that's about what you want. So this is my workstation, and as you can see now, I'm sitting in I'll push out a little bit, as you can see. So I'm sitting right now in like a half squat. One of the nice things about sitting on the floor is that even though I do have a cushion here, you're just naturally more inclined to switch your position out without even really having to be super conscious of it. That eventually, sitting like this, my right leg will start to fall asleep, or my hip will feel weird or uncomfortable. So just naturally, without thinking about it, I'm gonna switch to the other side, or maybe I'm gonna, come down and stretch my legs out. Maybe I'll stretch them out to the side. Maybe one leg comes in. So there are so many different positions you can sit in. There are a lot more options, right? If you think about a typical chair, we're probably gonna sit in just one way. I mean, maybe if you get really creative, you can come up with another couple ways to do it, but probably you're gonna be in the same position the whole time you're in that chair. You could come into I can come into a full squat, and of course I have a pillow here for comfort, because I have obviously a hardwood floor. If you're not used to sitting this close to the floor, and you are thinking like, there's no way I can get up and down off the floor, that is uncomfortable and far, and my joints are not going to deal with it, that's fine. Just come maybe a little bit closer to the floor, and you could certainly, I have another cushion here, you could bolster yourself up as high as you want, or just switch it up a little bit. Another thing from here is that besides the varied position, is that I am getting a full range of motion every time I get up and down. So when we're stopping at sort of that typical chair height, we're only going about halfway, which is fine sometimes, but sometimes for sure we want to move our joints in a full range of motion so that we can keep that mobility and in that strength too, to get all the way from the floor up. So every time I have to get up, maybe my phone rings, one of my children needs something, I need to refill my tea, whatever it may be, the doorbell rings, I have to get all the way up from the floor and then come back down, all the way back down. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about, every little bit I have to, do that, several times a day, that really adds up, because it's easy, I think sometimes in the modern world with all of this convenient furniture, to really go through a whole day and never have to go all the way down and all the way up. And I certainly see this in my classes a lot. Any of you out there who take my classes know, we work that in my classes, that mobility. Can you get up and down off the floor? Could you get up and down off the floor holding something? How easy is it for you to get off the ground or to the ground? And it's something that maybe even in the teens that I work with, sometimes is a little bit difficult at first, or doesn't feel natural. But with practice and with kind of honoring your boundaries and not overdoing it in the beginning, maybe just coming a little bit lower than you're used to at first, and then kind of being really gradual so your tissues have time to adapt. You people see an improvement for sure. So from here, I'm just gonna do some work and I'll let you sort of see a little glimpse of how I'm able to sort of switch my position up as I am doing something that typically is really sedentary, which is sitting at my computer. So here I go. Done for now with what I have to do. So I hope that gave you some ideas and maybe some inspiration for ways that you can add some movement to your day, even when you are maybe feeling like you don't have that option. Maybe you feel like I have a whole bunch of work to do, I just need to buckle down and do it. You know, movement's going to have to wait. It doesn't always have to look like exercise. It doesn't always have to look like you're at the gym or running down the street. Sometimes just moving your body is enough, and that's all you can do. So we're just gonna do what we can do. So sometimes, even when you are feeling like maybe you're doing something that's really a sedentary task, you can fit some extra movement in without really having to have any extra time. So I hope you found this helpful. I would love to hear from you too on what your sort of movement hacks are during the day or during times when otherwise you are doing something that's pretty sedentary, like being at your computer or you know, that sort of thing. I would love to hear from you what ideas you have, because it always is helpful to share. But anyway, I hope this was maybe gave you some ideas, some inspiration of different things you can do, sort of thinking outside of just sitting in your chair at your desk when you have to be at the computer. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much, and join me back here for videos on mindful movement and mindful living. Thank you so much. Have a great day.